Hey. Hallelujah.
What's up, guys?
Welcome back to Cover. Here with these two fine gentlemen, Jim Boatwright and Raul Hiley, a comic bro.
What's up, guys?
How's things
Good
going
evening.
for you guys?
Going good. How you guys doing tonight?
Really doing well.
Hey, this one's going to be a good show. I can feel it. Dude, this album was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I had never heard this album. Never.
I've heard most of the songs on the radio, but I've never heard some of those other songs.
Yeah.
And the song you guys came into earlier, dude, that was, yeah.
Number one song on the album, right?
Yeah, that song.
You know how we always get into the song? We won't say what the song is, but when I jumped on and you had it on, I go, dude, that's my number one.
Yeah.
And I had never heard it before. I had never heard that song before, and it's freaking. The more you listen to it, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
What a
beautiful song, man.
Dude.
Beautiful song.
God, it's so good. Sorry, Donnie. We went on a tangent.
All right, we're ready. We're pumped because this album is none other than Lynyrd Skynyrd's Second Helping. Just a great album. It's their second album, and it's famous for probably the song that they're most well known for, other than Freebird, which is
the opening track. Yeah,
and what a way to kick off the album.
No doubt
with that one. Now there's a story behind that one which we'll get into, but I guess I'll fire off the information on it. As I said, it's the second album, aptly titled Second Helping, after their first album, Pronounced, Lynyrd Skynyrd. And I don't know if too many people know the history behind that. There's probably a lot of the fans do anyway. Lynyrd Skynyrd was actually their high school principal when they were going to school growing up. And I remember watching Behind the Music when I was a kid, and they actually had him on there because he talked about what kind of kids they were growing up. He says they were troublemakers, but they were good kids. Mm-hmm. And he thought they were making fun of him to start with by naming the band after him and then distorting the name mm-hmm. with the spelling. But later on, he grew to appreciate it. He thought it was kind of cool that they would do something like that. It came out April 15th, 1974, tax day of all freaking days.
Hey, real quick, I want to mention too, just a few days ago, October 20th was the anniversary of their plane crash, which was just a few days ago.
Wow.
So how ironic would it be the week that we get this selected and that come together?
Wow.
It's like Ronnie speaking from the grave, you know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he searched this out. He goes, "Hey, these guys do a weekly show. This guy Mastodon. He's got this show going, and I kind of like it. How about Second Helping?"
Right. It was recorded specifically. Sweet Home Alabama was recorded by itself in June of '73, and the rest of the album was recorded at the record plant in LA in January of '74. Producer was Al Cooper, who famous for recording their first three albums and several other acts, but he's also known for being a founding member of Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and I believe the Blues Project. I'm not positive on that. This album peaked at number 12 on the Billboard charts, and it went double platinum. It's one of 4 of their albums that went double platinum. So solid. They sold a total of 28 million records over their career. So I think that's pretty good, especially for a Southern band, because it's kind of a Southern honky tonk's kind of a
niche.
Not a niche, but it's a niche. It's got its own crowd. It had 2 singles. Don't Ask Me No Questions was the first one, and Sweet Home Alabama, the aforementioned Sweet Home Alabama. And the cover art, man, I played hell trying to find information on this. And
I looked too, and I couldn't find a stank.
It took me 45 minutes to dig this out of my stuff. And all I found was Jan Salerno. And I tried to look her up, and I found a Jan Salerno on Facebook, but I don't know if it's the same person. This person doesn't look old enough to be, so I don't know.
One thing little fun fact I found out about this particular song, the Sweet Home Alabama, it was Ed King. He was previously playing bass on their first album. Well, then this was the first album he played guitar on, and he's the one that came up with the Sweet Home Alabama riff.
Wow.
Right.
The famous riff, and and I'm like, that was pretty cool. I found that out today, and I was
him and Rossington kind of had a guitar conversation with each other. And that's kind of what
I guess he was playing kind of like a melody of it.
Right.
And then he just came in with what we know now.
How many members are in Lynyrd Skynyrd? I mean, not that I've come and gone and all that, but originally,
7, I think, wasn't there? I think 7, I believe.
3 guitars, bass, singer, drums, and keyboard. Yeah, 7.
7.
7. Okay. Yeah. Ed King, you had mentioned Ed King. He had previously been in a band called the Strawberry Alarm Clock, who was a late 60s one-hit wonder. And incidentally, Skynyrd had opened for them in 1970. They were on a tour opening for them, and that's how Ed ended up being coming in, because their original bassist Leon Wilkinson, alias the Mad Hatter, because he always wore a different hat, whether it was a policeman's bob or a top hat or whatever. But he left the band for a short period, and Ed King came in to play bass. And Ed
was the only one, I believe, that was not a Southerner.
Correct.
He was from California.
Yes. Yep. And he's a big dude. He switched to guitar. They asked him to stay on when Leon came back. And it essentially it became a trademark for them, that 3 guitar attack. And that's something that is kind of a focal point in this album, is the fact that it became a 3-pronged attack.
Yeah. And they're from Jacksonville? No, they're from Gainesville.
Gainesville, yep.
Okay.
See, I've heard both. I guess they grew up in Jacksonville, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah, there's...
The high school and stuff is in Jacksonville, where Lynyrd Skynyrd was. They went to school in Jacksonville at Robert E. Lee High School.
Right.
But I've always heard growing up that they were from Gainesville, so...
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
What's the other band? Where's Molly Hatchet from?
Couldn't tell you.
Are
I
they from
think they-
Florida?
I think they might be from Jacksonville, but I'm not positive.
And then there's the other band that I freaking can't remember.
Blackfoot, maybe.
No. Oh my god, I can't put. I always blank out on this show, dude. What's that?
Tom Petty.
No, Tom Petty's from Gainesville.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then there's the other one, and I believe they're from Jacksonville. That they sing "Cut Up on You."
Oh, 38 Special.
38 Special. There you go.
Yeah.
They're from Jacksonville, right?
Right. And one of the guitarists from 38 Special was one of the founding members. That's Larry Junstrom.
Of Lynyrd Skynyrd?
Yeah, of Lynyrd Skynyrd. And Donnie Van Zant, which is Ronnie's brother, was a member. He was a guitarist and singer in 38 Special as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a whole. I think it's a mixture. Some of the guys were from Gainesville, and some of them were from Jacksonville. I know Ricky Medlock from Blackfoot, who played drums for Skynyrd before Bob Burns joined. He was from. I think he went to school with the Van Zants and all them.
That's like what? About like a 2-hour ride from Gainesville to Jacksonville? An hour and a half, maybe? It's real short.
Yeah. It's got to be, yeah.
Dude, that is cool. I'm looking up Molly Hatchet.
They got a show coming up here soon in Tampa.
Molly Hatchet's Jacksonville, too. Dude, that's a lot of good bands freaking from two cities practically, right? Right.
Yeah.
Right there. And then all at the same time.
Yep.
That's pretty freaking cool. And then you throw in Tom Petty because he came out of Gainesville probably a little later, right? A few years after. But he's been around he was around forever. I think that's cool.
I agree. Definitely. Little old Florida.
Yeah, dude. Who would have thunk it?
Al Cooper, that I was talking about, the producer, he was instrumental in getting them on to open for the Who, which helped them. They were previously playing small clubs and so forth, and when he solidified that, his connection solidified that spot with the Who on the Quadrophenia tour. And the subsequent release of this album, it helped propel this album a little bit. But the single, "Don't Ask Me No Questions," didn't really fare too well on the charts. It sort of started to drop off, and I was reading about Sweet Home Alabama. The MCA did not. They were afraid of that song because of the content,
right?
But it was because of the persistence of the promoters in the South and in various areas that got it continuous airplay. The one promoter said, we basically shoved it down MCA's throat, and they had no choice. So when they released it as a single, the album got back on the charts, and it ended up peaking at number 12. So it'd be interesting to see if they hadn't been successful in getting MCA to release that single, what would have happened with this album, and in essence, what would have happened with the future of the band. Because Ronnie even had made statements about his voice and the manner and vocal range which he was putting his voice through. He didn't want to do. He wasn't going to be able to do it forever.
Right.
So,
I read that too about them touring with the Who. Doesn't that it seemed like a really odd pairing to me, right?
Yeah.
I was like, how did that? I guess it worked, right?
Yeah, they were able to win them over.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I thought that was great.
One of the reviewers had said, was it Rolling Stone? In comparing them to the Allman Brothers, how the Allman Brothers had a more sophisticated and professional way of doing things. The Allmans would work on something until it was right, and Lynyrd Skynyrd would just turn up their amps and blast through it.
Yeah.
Blast
through the bottleneck. Yeah.
Right. That's exactly. Yeah.
I love that.
That's a great statement. They would just blast through the bottleneck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, fuck it. Just turn it up. Turn it up to 11. Turn it up to 11. It'll work. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It'll sound fine. Trust me, guys. It's going to trust it. Just
what they, in comparing this album with the first album, they said that I can't remember which article I read it in, but they had said that the sound was a little more refined, like a little more polished, maybe because of who was involved in the production of it, and the engineers, and where it was done, but also a lot of these songs, just like a lot of the songs on the first album, they'd been planned for 4 or 5 years. They'd been working on them, and they had them down. So these weren't songs that had just been written. They had actually produced them before, in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, which is kind of some of the backstory for Sweet Home. And I love the whole tale behind Sweet Home Alabama. Boat, you had mentioned earlier about Ed King and them talking. When I dug out my liner notes, because I couldn't find anywhere else online.
That's crazy, bro. There's nothing online, right?
It's such a seminal album. You would think there'd be more out there.
Right.
I even now I did click on, Wikipedia is not the greatest source anyway, but they did have some individual links for some of the songs. So I was able to dig into a little bit on them. And it said about Ed King. He was from Glendale. Ed was Glendale, California. They had this riff, and it was the little picking part, and I kept playing it over and over when we were waiting on everyone to arrive for rehearsal. And that's something they had mentioned in the liner notes about the rehearsal place. Was a little shack. What the hell did they call it? I can't find it.
It's the name of a shack where they recorded.
Yeah, well, it was their
practice
where they rehearsed. Yeah. They called it Hell House. That's what it was called. It was in Green Cove Springs, just outside of Jacksonville.
Oh yeah, you know what? I heard him talk about this place, and he would say that they would get up at they'd be in there 8 a.m, and they would go all day. They had it wasn't super big. The place had no AC. So they had their amps, everybody all in this one room, and then the summer heat. It said it was hot, so I'm assuming that's why they call it the Hell House.
Right.
Because he's like they would just sweat throughout the whole day. They would drink beer and sweat and play music.
And that was kind of one of the reasons that Sweet Home Alabama was recorded separate from everything else, because Al Cooper he was there when they were working on that song, and he liked it so much. And it was always my understanding that it was meant as kind of it wasn't even meant to go anywhere. It was just kind of a one-off joke. They started that, Ed and Gary started that riff, and then Ronnie jumped on the vocals and just started singing random lyrics. And he was, by the time it ended, it was a response to Neil Young's Southern Man and
it was perfect.
Right, it's perfect, and
it's a perfect response.
Kind of a biographical tale of their roots. Like the Muscle Shoals had the Swampers, and they even said it here. Muscle Shoals has got the Swampers. They pick me up when I'm feeling blue, and the Swampers were the production and engineering guys at the Muscle Shoals studio in Alabama, where they first originally recorded their original album.
Mm-hmm.
That was unreleased. I forgot where I was going with. I did say I was winging it, right?
Dude, I wing it all the time, dude. I just control myself from talking too much. But I wing it all the time. Unless I really know the album, it's not even this. I wing it all the time. It doesn't matter when I'm on, dude. I just wing it.
I do too. So we all do. That's what makes it fun.
It makes it fun, dude.
But yeah, I get from what you were saying is basically this song is a time capsule of the times that they were living in.
Right.
Everything from the governor of Alabama to, the Neil Young stuff and all that stuff going on.
I always took this song as a big fuck you, bro. It's always been a big fuck you. We don't care. This is us. Take it or leave it. We don't give a fuck what you think. Sorry if the kids are listening, Boat.
They're not.
That's how I always took this song, dude. And when he does that Neil Young line, it's like, dude, I can just see the two fucking birdies going. It's just, it's just an amazing.
That's
song,
my
dude.
favorite part of the whole song because I cannot stand Neil Young, man.
Definitely,
he sounds like.
I do like Neil Young.
And he sings like somebody's drowning by the balls, and he can't. Out in the desert with a horse and on me. I can't do that. I can't do Neil Young way.
There's some songs that I do like of Neil Young. I'm not the biggest fan, but I do like quite a bit of his songs. Dude.
I couldn't imagine back when he was out playing the bar. Somebody's like, "Dude, we need to get this guy a record deal right now."
How did it happen? Right? How did that happen?
How did it happen? Just like there's a lot of music back in the day. It's like, dude. Artist is horrible, and it's like we got to get this guy a record right now. Yeah. I don't get it, but hey, they figure, hey, Dylan got a record. This guy's got a good shot.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Jackson? What's up, Mark? What's going on? Unruly.
But the funny thing about that is Neil Young got a real good kick out of it. He said, "Okay, touche." I had that coming. Yeah.
Did he really? That's cool.
And he sent them. I forget what it said. Talking about the songs that he had written. There it is. Canadian rock icon would later offer the band 3 songs for the Street Survivors album, for the cover of which Van Zandt wore a Neil Young T-shirt. So it's like there was a kind of a mutual,
yeah, which is cool.
I don't want to say mutual respect, but a mutual,
Understand.
That they were just taking pot shots,
Yeah. It's almost like it's
East Coast, West Coast before.
That's what I was gonna get at. It was like the original East Coast rap, West Coast rap.
Exactly, because it's a shout out, a straight up Dame shout out.
Yeah.
In a song, it's like you didn't hear that before.
No, definitely not, dude. Yeah, it's like I guess one of the early ones, right?
Right.
OGs, man, the OGs.
I think it's cool as hell.
Some of the critics, it seemed to early kind of panned them. Like I said, they that Gordon Fletcher from Rolling Stone, he considered them kind of an unpolished band, but Robert, I don't know how to pronounce that last name, Christgau from Cream magazine, he said Lynyrd Skynyrd is still a substantial, tasteful band, but I have a hunch they blew their best stuff on the first platter, which is funny considering this one made it twice as far as the first album. The first album only peaked at 27 on the charts, and they were kind of consistent with their first three albums, because Nothing Fancy continued on into the top 10. But that gentleman would later observe the infectious put downs of rock businessmen, rock journalists, and heroin, and great formula in general. When it rocks, 3 guitarists and a keyboard player pile elementary riffs and feedback noises into dense combinations broken by pre-planned solos, while at quieter moments the spare vocabulary of the best Southern folk music is evoked or just plain duplicated. So there's, I want to say respected, but still seen as a
lesser,
lesser or unpolished.
And I think that with it being them a Southern band, I think that's probably why they didn't get the acknowledgement they should have, because as far as I'm understanding, they weren't that big back in the day. I mean, they were known, but they weren't big. It was like after the plane crashes when they got big,
Always like second class, right? Second class band. They were all those Southern bands. They were always looked down on. You just got the impression. Nobody ever said anything, but you just got that impression.
Right.
You just did.
Because it wasn't quite rock, but it wasn't quite country either.
Right.
It was it was kind of that in between. So I don't think a lot of people knew how to take them.
Well, and it also goes to what Jim was saying. They recorded, they practiced in the heat, drinking beer all day and just playing music, and then they weren't polished. They were just
and that
boys, man. Just let's play.
And that's the other thing that I had heard too, is when they were in California recording, they were just out of their comfort zone,
Yeah.
Not only being just out of their comfort zone, is there were so many distractions of being in Hollywood,
Yeah.
that they decided, we need to get back to the South basically and finish up recording there.
Yeah, dude, where they felt comfortable. Fish out of water.
Yeah.
Fish
they
out of their element. Yep.
Yeah. Jim just said it, because they talked about the people when they got to the record plant. There was people that were there, like Stevie Wonder and Jackson Brown,
John Lennon.
John Lennon ducked his head in while they were recording and they had to stop. They couldn't continue. They took a break.
Hey, was that John Lennon that was just here?
Yeah, it was like,
yeah, they said we're gonna need like 10 minutes.
10 minutes, bro. They probably took a few hours to get over that one, dude. Get out of town, you know.
And also to add to the John Lennon thing, I just watched a video today of a YouTuber I watch. She goes around from all these different places and films and whatnot. Just so happens, I was like, what the hell, you know? Just so happens, the second to last video he posted this week, he was in Lakeland, my town. Lynyrd Skynyrd they were having a showing at the Polk Theater.
No way.
And they had one of the crash survivors. He was I can't remember his name, Bob or something like that. He was the bodyguard, Ronnie's bodyguard, and he was kind of like the responsible one of the group that tried getting them from destroying everything. It was him and like a couple roadies that was at this event. They showed the film and stuff like that, and then they talked. And one of the guys said, you know, he was from Ohio, and he got the job by accident because he got friends with one of the guys, and hey, I kind of promised this guy a job. And Ronnie's like, okay, but you better not screw up or I'm gonna kick your ass type thing. But he talked about they were somewhere, and he's like, he saw John Lennon, and they went into a diner, and he had breakfast with John Lennon, some roadie, you know. And it's like, holy crap, you know. But yeah, how ironic is that? On the week we do this show is the anniversary of the plane crash, and then the same week, dude was in my town. They had a showing for the Lynyrd Skynyrd. They showed a lot of never seen footage of home recordings and stuff. So I thought that was pretty awesome.
That is cool, dude.
Sounds a little bit like fate.
Exactly.
We were supposed to do this.
Can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah.
You know what, Jim, you're right, bro. I was thinking about it today. I go, I wonder what album's coming up next.
I guess I'll grab the album art here.
I got a question to ask you guys about that album art, dude.
You know, I didn't notice if we're going to talk about album art, I didn't notice until right before we started this show that I really looked at it. Like I really clicked it up on the computer and looked at it. Dude, I didn't know there was two big old pot leaves on the top.
Oh shit, I didn't see that.
Yeah, see? And then they got smoke around the name Lynyrd Skynyrd or smoke.
Oh shit, I didn't even notice that.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah, because like when the album pops up on Spotify, you can't see all the detail of. I mean, you see that there's pictures of the band and all that, but once I pull it on the computer, I'm like, dude, there's two big old pot leaves there.
No,
and Lynyrd Skynyrd surrounded by smoke.
I have to bring it up. I gotta look at it again.
These guys were straight up gangster before gangster was gangster.
They were Snoop Dogg, right?
What's up, John?
Hey, John.
Hey, what's up, John?
There it is in all its glory. Right here.
And it's like a stained glass window.
There's this one right here, and this one right here. And then I always liked how the band name was done in like bones.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of I always thought that was neat. And each band member was silhouetted and like
they were painted like
right,
almost like a watercolor paint.
Yeah, like a mosaic type deal.
All right, dude. I gotta ask a question because
Okay.
it's kind of been bothering me. There's no girls in this band, right?
Backup
There's
singers.
three. There's backup singers.
Yeah.
Is that a girl on the cover?
No.
Dude, that one dude looks that one is not the most flattering picture. You know which one I'm looking at, right?
Which one? This one?
Wait, where are you at? I can't see the
Bottom left. You talking about the bottom left?
Yeah, man, the bottom left. That's not the
He
most
was
flat.
he was the bass player, if I'm not mistaken. He was one of the ones that died in the plane crash.
Are you serious? Wow, because it looks like a woman, and I was like, dude, did they have women? Because
Steve Gaines, I think his name was Steve Gaines.
Steve wasn't on this album.
Oh, he wasn't?
No, Steve replaced Ed King.
Like the dude on the other end, top right, that's straight up 70s, bro. You could just that looks straight 70s. But that one dude, I was like, man, that's not. It looks like a woman. I don't know if he was. I can't imagine him being. Even the pose where he's like looking back, like you could just see him. I don't know, dude. I'm just being silly, but that's the impression I got.
Dude, they had a lot of hair in that band.
They had a lot of thick hair, right? Thick hair.
I thought when I was younger, looking at like the early Sabbath record pictures of Sabbath, they had thick, long hair. Dude, Skynyrd, man, that whole band, there's so much hair in that band. It is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Aquanet heaven.
Dude,
it was the 80s.
I can't stop looking at his picture, at his portrait. I don't know. I don't know. It kind of just sticks out to me for some reason. It's almost like, oh, let me shut up. I'll leave it alone. But it is cool. You know what? It's what you said earlier, Jim. Stained glass, right? Stained glass window.
Yeah, that's what I get from it.
Yeah, definitely. It does have a very 70s feel. Yeah. I wish we knew more about who made it, man.
Yeah, I couldn't. I punched the name in, and as far as the liner notes, all the liner notes say is Jan Salerno.
Dude, I never saw the pot leaves, the marijuana leaves. That's crazy. And the smoke.
Yeah, the smoke around the name and the bones.
So how many members died in the plane crash?
3.
And well, where were they going? It was here in Florida, or they were going? Where is it that they crashed? I don't know too much about it.
I think there was 3. I think 3. Don't quote me, because I think the 2 were the pilot and co-pilot. 1 was the backup singer.
Yeah, and that was Steve's sister, Cassie.
Yeah, and that would leave 3, I would assume, for the band. I'm assuming.
And everybody perished?
No, there was 26 people. 6 died.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because the drummer at the time, Artemis Pyle, he, the story that I remember hearing was that he had, I'm looking at the wrong picture here. He had run to get help, and he had a rib sticking out.
What?
That was a rumor. That was a rumor.
Is it a rumor?
I heard from from Ronnie Van Zant's bodyguard that was on the plane crash, and one of the property owner that was there as rescue, and they said he was unscathed. He just had a little laceration that they think that he might have done while getting out of the plane because of the metal was all.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they said it sounds Artemis Pyle was a compulsive liar on all aspects. There was a rumor of him getting shot. They he never got shot. He never, and they also mentioned in the FFA report of the plane crash, it said that, basically no injuries. He walked away from the accident.
Dude, have you guys ever met a compulsive liar?
Yes.
Yes.
I have as well. It's a weird thing when you realize it, right? because you don't automatically catch on, right? And then as time goes on, it's like, wait a second, bro.
Yeah.
And then it's like, dude, it's like it's a sickness. It's a sickness. Anyway, I'm sorry, but yeah, I've only met one that I know. I might know more. I just haven't caught on to them yet, but I do know one.
And that's what some of the people that was there and people that knew him, and they said that he was pretty much an over exaggerator, and a lot of stuff he was saying wasn't true about everything, not just the plane crash, but everything.
Can I just, this one guy that I know, I knew him. I don't know him anymore, but he used to work at Publix with me, right? He was like a grocery assistant grocery manager, something like that. I remember he was like, yeah, bro, I just bought a $250,000 house. And I was like, oh shit, $250,000. Wait, that's just like an average house, bro. But when you stick in the $250,000, it's like,
makes it sound more, yeah.
Yeah.
And he would always, dude, he told me some crazy stories, and I knew his brother because he worked for Publix too. And I told his brother, hey, bro, how's your mom? Because he told me a story about his mom, and he goes, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He told you what about my mom? My mom's fine. And I was like, oh shit, I thought he said she had cancer. And he was, and I was like, and his brother was like, dude, oh my God, he's out of control. Anyway, I'm sorry, but yeah. It's nuts. Dude, I haven't even drank. I haven't drank anything. I'm still going off on tangents. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Right, back to the show, everybody.
That's all right. I think it was Ronnie, Steve, and his sister Cassie, and then the two pilots. I think those are the ones that passed. In the
out of and there was 26 on the plane.
Yeah, and they said Cassie, she died instantly.
Yeah.
They believe, they're pretty sure that when they pulled Ronnie out, he was still alive, but he died, I guess, in transit to the hospital. I don't know about the other ones.
No. Let's get to the songs, bro. Let's get to the songs.
The track list. Let me see if I can find that so that it's visible.
Dude, when I joined the stream backstage and you were playing that one song, I was like, oh shit, everybody's well, at least me and Jim are on the same vibe.
Yeah.
That's the song that stuck out to me, and I don't believe I've ever heard it. If I had, I'd never paid attention to it until this week, and it's a fat ass song.
Yeah, same here, man. Same here. I probably played that song the most while listening to this album.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, some of it might have to do not with just it being an amazing song, but majority of this album I've heard over and over and over again on the radio.
Yeah, I've heard I think I heard three of the songs that I knew. Definitely. Yeah, 3 songs I've heard before, I believe.
Plus, I pulled out one of my cassette tapes I had when I was younger.
Oh, nice.
Some of those songs were on this album too, so I've heard them a bunch.
Nice.
Sweet Home Alabama, right off the bat, I still ain't tired of that song. That song just, hands down, it's a jam every time I hear it. Every time I hear that opening riff, I always think of the Jessica Biel Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, my wife's not into rock at all. She's more into pop and that. And her number one rock song is Sweet Home Alabama. And she's from New York. and dude, she knows the lyrics. My wife automatically gets into a groove every time that song comes on. It's probably her all-time favorite top 5 songs. She adores it.
Yeah, it's a jam, man.
Yeah, it is.
My wife likes Lynyrd Skynyrd also, and she was born in New York, but she was raised down by you.
Oh yeah, cool.
As far as Sweet Home Alabama goes, I've been listening to this album all week. It's my first return to listening to it in its entirety in at least 5 years. But with the exceptions today, I've been skipping over it because I know the damn thing by heart.
Of course.
So I'm like, let me refresh with some of the other songs, the deeper cuts on this one.
See with me with Sweet Home Alabama, and Ronnie says turn it up, I turn it up. So good.
It's still a great song, but Donnie, I kind of did the same thing. I know this one. Let's pay attention to the other ones.
Yeah, I get what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
After the second or third time I heard this album, I kind of did the same thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you do not.
Except I did listen to Sweet Home Alabama. But like working for the MCA and some of the other songs that I'm well familiar with, I went to the ones that I wasn't so much familiar with.
Jim, you don't want to see aggressively relaxing as a comment.
Ah. No comment.
When you said about turning it up, I sort of turn it up when we get to Don't Ask Me No Questions, because I don't know if we're picking our favorite songs, but this is not just my favorite song on this album. This is my favorite Skynyrd song, period.
Nice.
Bar none. And it's kind of a reflection of who they were as a band. Like you said earlier about Sweet Home Alabama being a straight up fuck you.
Yeah, it is.
Don't Ask Me No Questions is kind of the same
thing
because it reflects the pressure that the industry put on them, and they're like, I come home from the road, just let me alone.
You know what I get from that song? Amazing song. I think it's the rock and roll version of Hank Williams' Mind Your Own Business.
There you go. I agree. But I always when I heard that as a youth, when I was younger, I always got a kick.
As a youth.
When I was younger.
Ago.
Who says that, bro? As a youth.
Adolescent.
as a young child. The line that they changed towards the end of the song when he said, "If you want to talk fishing, I guess that'll be okay." I'm like, this is a straight up layback song. Yeah. Let me alone. If you want to go fishing, let's go fishing, and we'll get a couple of poles and throw them in the water.
Great song, dude.
But working for MCA, straight up autobiographical song about how Cooper got the record deal, nailed down for them, and some of the little intricacies, even almost 50 years ago, that these artists were dealing with in the industries. They sort of get tied down by certain things within the industries, and you get in that contract, that's who you're working for.
It's almost like the old time movie stars that used to be stuck on the different studios, and then they would get loaned out and stuff.
Right.
It's almost the same shit. It's just the way they used to do business back then.
Ballot of Curtis Lowe. I always like the backstory of that. It's kind of their ode to all the old players. Like I the liner notes credit the original source to Shorty Medlock, which was Ricky Medlock's grandfather. But the other stuff that I read was that it was bits and pieces of people like Robert Johnson and some of the older blues players that made up this character Curtis Lowe. And I think Ed King was the one that came up with the name for it. The Curtis Lowe name, and I can't remember where it was from. But I always thought that was a great song because I guess there was some subtle truth behind that, because they like where the line in it where his mom would whoop his ass for going down and listen to this guy. And there were some stories that Johnny had said there, that was kind of partially true. Their parents were kind of strict on going down to the corner store to watch some of these older guys play. And, they were,
but
I don't want to say frowned upon, but
right. But ironically too, back to Hank Williams, he did the same thing when he was a young kid. He learned how to play from a black blues man, play the guitar. So I kind of, listening to this song, I kind of felt like I was listening to Hank Williams Sr., his story coming up, because he learned how to play. He'd go down and watch the blues guy play, and he learned how to play guitar from him, and so on and so forth.
Right.
I like that song too, the Ballot of Curtis Lowe.
Yeah, it's a great song.
It is.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the ballad songs on this album a lot.
Swamp Music is basically another ode to their roots, like going and just playing and having a good time, relaxing, whatever.
Now I think that's a genre now, isn't it? Swamp music.
Yeah, I think so. I was always, even though it's got kind of a negative connotations, the Needle and the Spoon, I always thought was a great song. And kind of maybe brings an awareness when maybe technically there wasn't one at that time, as far as the relation to drugs and things like that, because it was something that they were just finding themselves, falling into.
Yeah.
Because later songs like "Do That Smell" would be, a direct cousin of this song, I guess.
Check out Aggressively Relaxing's comment. I don't know which song is he. I don't know if he's talking about Swamp Music or Curtis Lowe. Not sure which one it is you're talking about.
Call Me the Breeze is a cover, and Curtis Lowe. And I looked at it, it's been covered by a lot of people, a lot of acts.
So they covered it as well. This is not their.
No, this is a J.J. Cale song, and J.J. Cale gets covered quite a bit from what I understand. Where's it at? He's been covered by Johnny Cash,
Wow.
John Mayer, or this song has been. Les Claypool covered this song.
Bobby Bear, Mason Prophet.
I would like to hear Claypool play this song, bro.
Yeah.
I gotta look that up.
It's a great song too. I always did like that song.
I like it as well. It seems like that's the one song on this album that they're just playing, and it's nothing, call me they call, and they're just having fun with this one. It just seems like they just let go. That's the impression I got.
Yeah.
It's not heavy at all. It's just them just jamming. And we skipped the one song.
Which one?
I Need You.
Yeah.
Oh.
We kind of skipped it. Dude, that song just grew on me. It's like I could probably just put that on repeat and just hear that song and just let it play and let it go, and just that song's a jam, dude.
Especially when the backing vocals come in on the chorus, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that song's a jam.
That's a song that I can, when it comes on, not just the volume on the song comes up, but the volume on me comes up. Because that's a song that I could just belt out.
I don't remember hearing that before this week, man. Honest. If I heard it, I never paid attention to it. It's a freaking... It's
definitely single worthy. It could have been a good single.
Yeah.
You know something interesting? It's only 37 minutes long, this album. It's fairly short. But dude, that song is... Sweet Home Alabama's the song, but dude, I like you were saying, yours is what was your favorite? Don't Ask Me No Questions.
Yep.
Mine is definitely I Need You. That song just rocks, bro. It just jams.
Now on the re-release, which is what this one is, they had three more songs, and they were previously unreleased. Well, the one there, that was a singles version that's listed there.
Mm-hmm.
But on the re-release, they had the two demos, Was I Right or Wrong and Take Your Time. And Was I Right or Wrong is, if that would have been included in the original release of this album, I think that would have been another stellar addition to this album. And I think it's great that they included it on the re-release for this album, because it's just a great song about proving your worth, and when you finally do so, nobody's there to see it, and it's like the ultimate slap in the face, if you will, because you especially if you're someone that has been told you're never amount to nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and when you go to prove it, there's nobody there to see it. And that's one that's put me in a state many times.
Isn't that life though, bro?
Yeah.
That's just life right there. It's not the movies.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the movies.
Well,
Right.
that's what I was gonna say about a lot of the Skynyrd songs, is they're so relatable.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So relatable.
Yeah, like you brought up Don't Ask Me No Questions. I've said that several times to my wife. It's like, you really don't want to know what's going on up in here sometimes, You really don't. Sometimes there's nothing going on. There's a lot less than you think, but sometimes you really don't want to know what's going on up here, dude. You
Right.
really don't. You kick me off the show.
It's kind of like Well, it's kind. I guess it'd be kind of like that. Bill Burr did that. He had a joke line about that. It's like let me alone. You want to do this? Okay.
Yeah, you wanted to find me. You found me. Now let's do it. Come on. Let's go. Yeah, I've had several of those moments. Yeah, it is short, but you could let the whole tape play. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this is since when I was young, I Lynyrd Skynyrd goes way back for me, not just because of Sweet Home Alabama, but VH1. I watched the Freebird movie in its entirety, and that's, I learned towards the end of this movie that these guys were killed, and some of these guys were killed in a plane crash, and I'm like, I'm in 9th grade when I'm watching this, and I'm going, what the hell? And that incidentally was one of the first albums that I bought with my own money. It was the Freebird soundtrack.
Nice.
Now it was much later. It was a few years later when I was in college that I bought this album, the first album, and their third album. And but I was still because the Freebird soundtrack was one of the 10 albums that I had. It got a lot of play in my CD player. That and Prodigy's Fat of the Land.
Wow, they go so well together, kind of like
right?
Yin and yang right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not my favorite band, but they're one of those bands that always near and dear to my heart.
Awesome.
So I don't.
To me, I kind of put them with. For me, they're one of the best, or my favorite classic rock bands of all time.
I never got into Skynyrd, man. I knew some of the songs that they played on the radio, but this is the first time I've ever heard a whole album.
Because you ain't a Southern man.
No, dude, I live. This is freaking.
Can't relate to the Southern man.
No, because you live in Southern Florida. I live in Northern Cuba. That's where I live. Right under Orlando. This is Northern. This is Northern Cuba. You live in Southern Florida. Okay, we're not even in the same. It's not even the same thing, dude. Not even the same thing. I was actually was 38 Special. They used to have them on constant rotation on MTV, and dude, Hold On Loosely, and oh my god, I freaking loved 38 Special.
See, I never got into 38 Special or the Allman Brothers, or
I like the Allman Brothers.
Skynyrd was like my go-to, like, classic rock band as far, that aspect, besides like the Doors and stuff like that. But like 70s rock, yeah, it's Skynyrd all day long for me.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I got because of my influence from Skynyrd, I was able to find, Blackfoot and Molly Hatchet and the Allman Brothers. Who else do we know? The 38 Special. Mm-hmm. A lot of those other. And it's kind of fun because then you find out how they all revolved around each other.
Crazy.
This member was in that band, or this member is that member's brother, or and the Freebird, the song, was like a tribute to Dwayne Allman after he was killed in a motorcycle accident. So it's like, what?
They were all tight.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all Florida boys.
Yeah. They were all tight, man. They were all freaking tight. It's awesome. Hopefully one day I'll live in Florida and I'll get to enjoy it.
We welcome you with open arms. Come on up.
Dude, it's a miracle that I even like rock when you think about it. It's a miracle. I don't. We're going on.
You're definitely a unique individual, man. That's why you're awesome.
Thank you, bro. We're going to a Friday. We're going up to Port St. Lucie with some couples to a Halloween thing, dude. We're going Friday and Saturday, right? Dude, and Friday we're going to a Spanish club, and I'm so depressed because I don't want to go to a Spanish club, dude. God.
For more on Hialeah's story, go check out the first episode of The Top, where I interviewed him on history.
Dude, we're going to a Spanish place, bro. It's driving me nuts. Anyway, dude, what's the next album, Downey?
Right.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let me put it up there.
What are we going to be listening to for the next 2 weeks?
Make it a good one.
All right.
Don't say no Neil Young or anything.
Uh-oh.
Is
My
Neil
family's
Young on
home.
here?
No, Harvest is on there.
Harvest. I actually have that album. I like Harvest.
So do I.
I might be sick that week.
That's like
You're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to work.
Yeah, I just got called in, you know.
Yeah, craziest thing.
All right, we ready?
Do it.
Big money, big money, big money, and stop. The number of the beast.
Highway to Hell.
Hell.
Awesome.
I'm cool with that.
I could have gone with either one of those two.
Yes, sir.
All right, so there you have it. Highway to Hell, AC/DC.
Oh,
I love that album.
Me too.
No doubt.
Me too. Me too. Every song is freaking.
Yeah,
good.
we've talked about that before.
Yeah, dude, that album is fantastic.
All right. So that concludes tonight's episode. I think I expressed how I feel about this album. I think we all made a valid statements about how good this album is. It's Lynyrd Skynyrd's second helping. It's their second album. If you have never heard it, go check it out. Please.
Yes.
Definitely.
Will not be disappointed.
I'm glad I did. I'm glad we have this show I never heard it before, and it's great.
I couldn't have said it any better. You know, this show, you know, just listening to albums that I either normally wouldn't listen to or albums that I never heard but are familiar with the band. Mm-hmm. Dude, it's great, man. I love it.
It is. I freaking love it too. I never would have heard I Need You. Freaking song rocks, bro.
It does, man.
I need you. That's what I was going to say about that one. I kind of compare that to, I don't know if you've ever heard the Beatles song "I Want You."
Yeah.
Sure.
I want you so bad. But I always kind of compared that to, it's kind of their version of that song. It's kind of it's
You know what song it reminds me of? 10 Years Gone by Zeppelin. It's not the same, feel, but it feels the kind, and you just let it play, and it's just like, oh, dude, this song is so good. And they're slow songs, and they just, oh, dude, it's just so good.
Oh, so the next one's Back in Black, yes.
Highway to Hell.
Highway to Hell. Highway to Hell.
All right. So we're going 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks.
Okay.
We're good.
So 2 weeks from tonight, we will be discussing AC/DC's Highway to Hell, the last album with Bon Scott. Just a great album. If you have never heard it, go check that out. Prepare for the next episode, because I'm hoping it's going to be just as good an episode as this was. I love this episode. This was great.
I think we're getting a groove. I think we're getting the feel.
We went for an hour and 10 minutes, and it
went by fast.
Given the information I was able to find on Second Helping, I thought we were going to be at half an hour, and that was it.
I thought the same thing.
But I want to thank Hialeah and Jim for coming on, as always. Always a great discussion with you guys.
Yeah, it's always a good time.
I want to thank everybody who popped in the chat: Unruly, Mark Knapp, Jackson Roykirk, Agro, John's comments with kids. It's always good to see you guys, and everybody and anybody who checks it out on the Rewind. Definitely go check this album out. Go check any of the previous albums out that we've done. I think, what is this, number 17? So we've done 16 other albums. So go check every one of them out. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Get out there and listen to some music.
Peace.